Out of Bounds, sports commentary with a brain.
Welcome to Out of Bounds. I'm Kevin Flanagan.
I'm Ross Schweitzer.
The NCAA is now down to round 16, and two teams we cover are still left. And funny enough, they face each other. The Ohio State Buckeyes and UK Wildcats face off Friday night in Newellton, New Jersey at 9:45. Now on to Ross with the University of Kentucky perspective.
Thanks, Kevin. This Friday is going to be should be a tight game, hopefully, just from a basketball fan's perspective. From the Kentucky's perspective, though, the key is going to be obviously to limit the perimeter shooting, the three-point shooting of these Buckeyes. They come in and they're shooting the lights out. You know, 61% last game. David Lighty 7 of 7 from threes. They can really light you up. George Mason can attest to that. But if Kentucky, though, one thing that's different between the teams that the Buckeyes have faced so far in this tournament in Kentucky is their defense, I think, is a lot stingier, and I think that they, can give them more of a game in that regard. Offensively, Kentucky's going to have to try to get more of a balanced scoring. The first game it was Darius Miller who kind of led the Cats. He had 17 points, kind of led the way offensively. Last game it was Brandon Knight with 30 points, who had a phenomenal game. But then Darius Miller faded away and he only had 3 points. So it's going to be key for the Cats to spread the ball around better offensively. They've been doing a better job with their field goal percentage overall than during the regular season, but they're going to have to get other guys more involved, and especially the key could really be Deron Lamb. If he can get going and have double-digit points, everybody else have double-digit points. That could be huge, for this game. The first game against Princeton, Princeton played overall. Their stats were higher than they were during the regular season. Kentucky's were a little bit lower in most of their categories. They were a little bit higher in their field goal percentage. Same for the West Virginia game. They were a little bit higher on their field goal percentage, which was key. The other key, too, was Kentucky's free throw shooting ability, which was much improved in the West Virginia game, and it was very key down the last few minutes of the game to go ahead and close that one out. Another key will be Terrence Jones and Josh Harrelson down low. If they can do a good job of containing Jared Sullinger, that also can go a long way towards the Cats ending up with a victory. Pretty much the key is, like I said, with Sullinger, if you can contain him, kind of slow him down a little bit. I think it'll help too, if you got Harrelson, who's tall and lanky a little bit, and then you got Jones, who's a little shorter, a little stockier, maybe a little bit more similar of a body type than is Sullinger. And Kentucky can continue the rebounding dominance that they've had in the past few games and majority of the season, really. I think that'll help as well, and to give the Cats more opportunities. And as long as they capitalize on the opportunities given, because you can't waste any time, you can't miss any opportunities against this Buckeye team. I think that they have a very good chance going into this game. On to Kevin with the Ohio State Buckeye perspective.
Well, for Ohio State, this is a tough matchup. It's probably one of the tough matchups that they might face, the rest of the tournament, other than possibly Duke or Arizona in the Final Four. They get that far, but I think the key players for Ohio State will be David Lighty is my number one key player for the whole game. He's the most experienced. He can handle these situations, and he needs to find the guys down low are going to be key. Because I think if the Buckeyes can go inside early, get some fouls in Kentucky, get Terrence Jones in foul trouble or Harrelson, they can just pretty much open up the outside game, which has been good for them because, they're not going to shoot 61% or 50% most likely against Kentucky. You never know. But I think going inside with Sullinger and, even Lauderdale, if he gets some opportunities because he's one of the biggest guys in the game, especially compared to UK. I think that will be key. And I think the other thing is the Ohio State defense trying to force a lot of turnovers. They did pretty well against George Mason, but I think that trying to fluster, the young Wildcat team and getting out to an early start and maybe pressing, doing half-court traps, I think that'll be something that Ohio State, I'm sure they'll probably do anyway. And then the last thing I feel like is their free throw shooting. I mean, they're not one of the best teams, like 72% for the year. If they can make their free throws like UK did against West Virginia, that's how you win games and go on to the Elite Eight in the Final Four, etc. But I think the toughest thing for Ohio State is going to be is keeping up their outside shooting, because they're just not going to get open looks, and I feel like that UK might play a 3-2 zone against them, to offset the man-to-man. And lastly, I think the biggest key to the Buckeyes being, able to pull out this victory against the Wildcats is preventing any runs, like a 12-point swing, an 18-point swing, because UK has done that really well in their past their 8-game win streak that they've had, over the end of the season in the conference tournament in NCAA. And that's what I think can fluster the Buckeyes. That's what happened against Wisconsin and Purdue when they lost, only 2 games a year. And I think, if the Buckeyes play good enough defense, because I know, there's a couple games in the tournament this year that they have had one really bad half defensively, where their other team shot about over 45% and one really good half. And they're going to have to, not have that one bad half. That one bad half, the UK might score 55 points. So I think if the Buckeyes stick to their game plan, get some turnovers and some quick baskets, they can pull it out. But it's going to be a grudge match.
I think it would be safe to say that the team that stays the most mentally tough and the most mentally focused throughout, because I think both teams are going to go on runs, but it's who can mentally stay in the game and still stick with the fundamentals. I think that's going to be the team that's going to pull it out in the end.
Yes, for sure, because I definitely don't think the crowd will be a factor, because both teams will have 50 fans, so won't be much of a distraction for either team. So, I mean, it's really hard to judge, and, it should be a fun night.
It'd be very good for area sports fans, college basketball fans.
For sure.
Be an exciting game.
For Out of Bounds, I'm Kevin Flanagan. Please check us out on Facebook at our group Out of Bounds.
I'm Raj Schweitzer. Please check us out on Twitter. It's @OutofBoundsCIN.
Also, please check us out on YouTube and subscribe to our group.
Good night, Cincinnati.
Yeah!